Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Our program will begin in 2 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Our program is about to begin.
Last year, Walmart launched Project Gigaton, a platform that encourages suppliers to join in reducing emissions in the value chain.
So what's a gigaton anyway?
To help suppliers get started, Walmart released a resource center with tools, information, and videos. We collaborated with NGOs and suppliers to help make it even easier to share best practices. And our work together drew some interest. So we expanded Project Gigaton, launching it in the UK and also in China, with a goal to reduce 50 million metric tons in China alone and increasing access by adding Mandarin to our resource center. It will take all of us coming together, doing our part. Are you committed to Project Gigaton?
All right, good morning. How's everybody today? Great, all right. We're so glad that you guys are all here and joining us in Bentonville. So for the associates in the room, we have associates here from around the world. Where's our international group? There we go. They're always the loudest at a Walmart meeting, and we appreciate your energy and your passion for the work you're doing in sustainability around the world. We have a lot of our merchants here with us today, our suppliers, some of our NGOs that we work with, and some special guests. So we have a busy agenda this morning, and we're going to spend the next hour and a half or so together talking about our work over the past year, sharing with you our journey. It's been about a year since we launched a really ambitious program called Project Gigaton with our goal of reducing over 1 billion metric tons of emissions from our whole supply chain. And we've had a great journey so far, as you saw on the video. After that session, we're going to do some deep dives on some topics that are particularly important and relevant for everybody in the room, areas like packaging and renewable energy, and how to get started and sign up with Project Gigaton. So you guys know, many of you have been to Walmart meetings before, and we always start a Walmart meeting with a cheer. And so to do that, I have a handful of merchants that are going to come up with me. So let me invite my merchants up. All right, we've got some buyers, product development, and you also know, if you've been around Walmart for a while, that we like items, right? So we like to talk about our items, we like to sell our items, and these guys are working across the business, developing more sustainable products, and they're selling well, and they're really helping us to deliver what we like to call everyday low true cost products. So Harrison, why don't you kick us off and tell us what you brought today?
Okay, so I'm excited to present you the Haines Crew Comfort Blend socks. These socks are made with 100% cotton from U.S. Cotton Traceable and also 24% recycled polyester. It's produced in a LEED certified facility, and we're very proud, about showing our customers that they don't have to choose between something that is affordable and something that does well for the environment.
Good morning. I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but today is April 18th, and we're pretty excited because today is World Banana Day. So, pretty fitting we have the meeting today. But with that said, at Walmart, we have over 90% of our farms actually have certified fair trade and Rainforest Alliance geared towards protecting the environment and taking care of the workers on the farms. At the same time, we continue to gain market share with these items, and the customers really responded. We also have in the back, if you guys get an opportunity, enjoy some of the muffins that we have in the back and the banana bread that is also brought by Sam's Club, which also comes from certified farms. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ray, and I'm the product developer in private brands for the personal care department. In personal care, we are proud to offer our customers many great private brand products, like this new Equate Water Lily liquid hand soap refill. This product's package is recyclable, and we let our customers know by using the How to Recycle label. This product is also a certified EPA Safer Choice formulation, and it's made in the USA. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Cowell. I'm the senior merchant for coffee at Sam's Club. Today, I'm talking to you about our Member Smart Colombian Supremo coffee. If you haven't tried it, there's samples outside for you to try today. All of our Member Smart whole bean and single serve coffees are sustainably sourced through fair trade. So not only are our workers paid a fair price, but they're also getting funding that will go back to the farms to work on sustainable farming practices and improving their social communities. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Chastity Prince. I'm proud to work as part of the stationery team. Today I wanted to show you one of our items that we have that is FSC certified. This is our Exceed Journal. We sell it in 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. This retails for $6.64. It's a great value when you compare it to the national brand. I think I already said this, but it is FSC certified, and we're really proud of the sales growth that it's actually driving within the category. So thank you for that. I also have the pleasure in leading on the Walmart cheer. So if y'all could get on your feet, we'll get this started.
Great job, merchants. As you can see, what we're doing in our supply chains, Project Gigaton, is coming to life with our merchants, with our products, and in our stores and clubs and online around the world. So with that, I'd like to welcome up Sheila Bonini with World Wildlife Fund and Kathleen McLaughlin, who leads our efforts in sustainability and president of the Walmart Foundation. Welcome.
Thanks, Laura. Want to grab the mic? Great. Well, we are so excited to be with you all this morning. Thank you for coming. You know, I can't believe it's been a year since we launched Project Gigaton. So it's the 1-year anniversary. It's a fitting day for us all to get together. It also happens to be the week of Earth Day. And we're also releasing our Global Responsibility Report this week. So I don't know if you guys want to show it up there. We have a screenshot of it. There it is. You're the first to get a glance at the cover. So we're really excited about that. It details the progress we've made on this effort and a bunch of others. So please have a look. And many of the suppliers and partners here who we work with, the work is highlighted in this report. So, you know, it's been a great year, Sheila. It was, in the last year, we spent a lot of time with folks in this room, recruiting suppliers, encouraging people to sign up. And you know, we launched in China a few weeks ago. We launched in the UK. So we're so excited to come back and talk about where are we. And if you want to put the next shot up, Project Gigaton. We're going to spend the whole morning talking about this work and what do these different pillars mean, examples of the progress people are making. And our hope is that it sparks ideas for everybody in the room to go farther, faster. So I want to start off by, first of all, thanking all of our amazing partners from the environmental NGO community. Here are the names on the board. Can you please stand up if you're with any of these groups today? Please stand up so we can give you a round of applause. We couldn't have all come as far as we have without the support of everybody here. And Sheila, I want to give a special thanks to you and World Wildlife Fund for getting us going and helping us design this initiative with all these great teams. And then the suppliers. We are so excited that we have now over 400 folks signed up. If you want to flip to the next slide there, over 400 have signed up to Project Gigaton, which is really, really fantastic. They represent over 30 countries, including places like Sri Lanka. And you say, Sri Lanka? Well, you know, we source from Sri Lanka. So people are signing up in the supply chain all around the world, which is really exciting. What's interesting is this first year as we're getting going, most of the commitments, the lion's share of the commitments are in 2 of our pillars, energy and product innovation or product use. So it makes sense, right? Those are kind of materially relevant. You can see why people will get started there. But we'll talk a little bit about expanding and thinking about the other pillars as well.
So it's really a terrific start, and we are super proud to be up here and to be partnering with you on this, helping design and looking forward to implementing all of these commitments by the suppliers. And it's a tremendous number of suppliers. I think it's great that they're starting on energy. Energy is a super place to start. It's usually where you can see some of the returns in terms of the environment and the bottom line right away quickest. We are hopeful that suppliers will be looking at some of the other pillars as well. They're all equally important. But just some factoids to help us think about how important. Deforestation represents something like 15% of greenhouse gas emissions globally. Something like food waste in the waste area represents, if you eliminate it, something like 10% of greenhouse gas globally. So there's huge impact that can be had, and many of these things also drive really good bottom line impacts as well. So we're really excited about this first year. It's tremendous progress, really gotten off to a great start. And we're really proud to be part of this initiative. It's tremendous, the steps that Walmart has taken, starting with their own impacts. And now Project Gigaton, which is really a step up. It's the first time a major US retailer has set such an ambitious target that really engages their supply chain and is really aimed at getting us to where we need to be in terms of what the science tells us. So it's really, really exciting and a great start.
It is a good start. And just to put this in context, this year alone so far, based on what people have already avoided in terms of emissions, it's 20 million metric tons. So if you guys want to flip to the next slide. What's amazing about this number, just to give you a feel for it, sorry, go forward another one. This It is the same as the target we had set before launching Gigaton that took us 5 years to think about how we could achieve in the supply chain. So we worked over 5 years trying to get 20 million metric tons out. We ended up taking out 37. In 1 year alone, everybody in this room and the others who signed up for this have hit 20 million. So that's amazing. Let's give ourselves a hand. So we want to find ways to recognize suppliers that are doing such a great job, and we're going to do it in different ways. You know, events like this and when we're out speaking. And one of the other ways that we can recognize is through our portal for Project Gigaton. We've just launched a new feature which will help companies tell their story. We're identifying what we call Giga Gurus. So these are companies that have set SMART goals, right? So specific, measurable, actionable goals that are time-bound. So we're going to be recognizing you on here and allowing you to tell your story in more detail about what you're doing. And we're also going to recognize everybody else who's making some kind of commitment so that there's that opportunity to engage. And we hope this will be a good resource, too, so folks can learn from each other.
It's tremendous, and really like to see the transparency also, because it's so helpful to have those leadership examples to help motivate the other suppliers. And I think that's a really, really important aspect to where we are here, which is a lot have signed up, but it's a start. We're year one into a 15-year project, and we want to see more. We want to see more commitments, and we want to see more commitments across more pillars. And we're super excited to be able to work with you all and think about the next 14 years and what that implementation looks like, and start seeing some of these impacts that you're already seeing, some of the impacts on the ground. So it's a really terrific start, and we're looking forward to even bigger and even better.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again, Sheila. Thanks to everybody in this room. We really look forward to a fantastic morning hearing about more examples of what people are working on. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Steve Bratsby, Walmart's Chief Merchandise Officer.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good. Appreciate everybody coming and participating in Project Gigaton. It's great to hear what a great start we're off to already, Kathleen. Made a lot of progress in year one, but as we all know, we have a lot more to do. So I want to just take a minute and just pause on merchandising. And many of you in this room have seen this slide. My team has probably seen it more than they want to see it, but it's how we talk about our focus in merchandising. And we are always going to remain a growth company and focus on growth. And we think about 3 key planks for us to be able to do that. The first, everyday low price and quality of our products. Second is how we continue to drive cost out of the system, right? We call it resetting the cost structure. We have to be incredibly efficient to be able to drive our EDLP. And we're going to continue to invest in the omni-channel and grow. That's what our customers are looking for. So growth is going to be our primary focus. But this year at YBM, I talked to my team about how do they make an impact, right? Can they take this year and choose this year to be the year of impact? And I challenged them on 3 different areas. The first was, how do we become a more inclusive company? The second one is, how do we continue to invest and participate in our U.S. manufacturing commitment? And the third one was sustainability. So why we're here today, Project Gigaton. And it creates just a great opportunity for everyone in merchandising and all of our suppliers to participate, because packaging is such a great opportunity as a way to drive our results in Project Gigaton. And we've been very focused on making all of our private brand products recyclable and our commitment to doing that. And we ask that everyone think about how they can participate with their packaging and different things that they can do to be participating in Project Gigaton. So I have the opportunity today to call up Mr. Jim Jenkins, who is the president of Coca-Cola North America, new president of Coca-Cola North America. And you guys have been doing some pretty cool things, making some pretty big commitments in the world of packaging and recycling. So can we welcome Jim, first of all?
Thank you.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing at Coke and the investments that you're making in this area?
Great. Well, first of all, thank you for having us. We made a goal in concert with Project Gigaton to reduce our carbon footprint by 25%. And we feel good about the progress we've made against that. We've looked across the whole supply chain, but we took a step back and said, are we doing enough? Are we looking at everything across our supply chain, especially our packaging? And so we decided to put forth an aspiration and ambition called a world without waste. And really what world without waste means is that we want to, by 2030, recapture and recycle 1 bottle or can for every one we make. So recapture and recycle 1 bottle can for every one we make. And what's so exciting about that is with the metrics that we're doing with Project Gigaton is that we will, with just the business we do with Walmart, impact positively greenhouse gases by over 200,000 metric tons alone with the business we do with you. So we are super excited about that. And the thing I would invite the supplier community is we're not going to be able to do this alone. So with those who would help us with recycling, with packaging, with recovery, we're going to need your help to do that, but we are really committed to doing that and excited to have the opportunity to make that aspiration a reality. And thank you for having us the opportunity here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate, one, the partnership with Coke and all the work that you're doing, but it's a great example of how Walmart can connect lots of different people. So you said you need help doing this, right? So let's talk about how we can find ways to support Coke's effort and everyone else's effort to drive Project Gigaton. The connections that Walmart can make and how we bring people together is one of the unique powers of this company, and we can use it to do a lot of really good things. So thanks for what you guys are doing. So throughout the rest of the meeting, we're going to highlight lots of suppliers that are leading the way. So those of you who are already participating in Project Gigaton, thank you. Thank you very much for all the work you're doing. And for those of you who aren't yet, think about different ways. And I challenge you on packaging. It's one of the ways that can make a real difference. There were some great examples outside, up front, in the little packaging fair of different things that different people are doing. There's a lot of ways for people to participate, and I think you can do an awful lot and make a difference in your business. And one of those companies that's making a difference next is Anheuser-Busch. So let's hear from what they're doing. Thank you.
Good morning. At Anheuser-Busch, we know that the consumer cares about sustainability. And that is why we are focusing our efforts on issues that matter and that will move the needle. Just yesterday, we launched our 2025 US sustainability goals to engage all of our facilities in water efficiency efforts, to connect 100% of our direct farmers through training and technology, and to use majority recycled content in all of our primary packaging. Additionally, we are committed to secure all of our purchased electricity from renewable sources. This will help us in reducing our carbon emissions by 25% across the entire value chain. Our Budweiser brand is proudly carrying the flag of our renewable electricity goal. Our wind farm at Thunder Ranch in Oklahoma, it actually came operational in January of this year, and it's already producing enough renewable electricity to brew 20 billion of 12-ounce beer servings every year. Just imagine, 20 billion. This amount of electricity that is generated there, it is the equivalent of taking about 85,000 cars off the road, or reducing emissions by 400,000 tons of CO2 annually. So as a result, every serving of Budweiser in the US is now brewed with 100% renewable electricity made from wind power. So to celebrate this, we proudly launched our logo for renewable electricity, and it will enable our consumers to support a brighter future and make smarter choices every day. Sustainability is good for the environment, and it's good for business. Our consumers and stakeholders, they expect it. Millennials value sustainability in every choice they make. So we will engage our consumers in this conversation, and Budweiser will start a movement. Our new symbol will reach millions of people in the US this year because we're rolling out that packaging as we speak on Earth Day. By May, the new symbol will be on every Budweiser sold in every Walmart store across the nation. We're not stopping there, though. We are working with NGOs and corporate partners to help us in this ambition and to inspire others to embrace the symbol. So we're excited that our commitment to renewable electricity is now part of Project Gigaton. We value the leadership from Walmart big time to recognize and bring together companies to work together to create a better world for the next 100 and plus years. So cheers to a better world, one Budweiser at a time.
Hey friends at Walmart, Michael Phelps here. Water has been a big part of my life, so I know how valuable it is. That's why I partner with Colgate, to let everyone know every drop counts. Colgate discovered that one of the biggest opportunities to conserve Earth's most precious resource lies in changing people's behavior as they use Colgate products. By developing a simple call to action, Colgate is inspiring to make a small change that has a big impact. Join us. Turn off the faucet while brushing. Save up to 4 gallons of water. This is being brought to life in Walmart stores by partnering with merchandising, marketing, and sustainability. Together, let's inspire Walmart shoppers to join us, take action, and turn off the faucet while brushing. Saving water is something we can all smile about.
Good morning. We're here from Store 100 to talk about Colgate's commitment to Project Gigaton and to kick off their Save Water campaign.
We designed this campaign to deliver a simple message, to turn off the tap while brushing. Turning off the tap saves water, but it also saves energy. By encouraging our shoppers from across the world to turn off the tap, it's estimated to save more than 2 million metric tons of carbon emissions. We're excited about this as Colgate's commitment to Project Gigaton.
We're bringing this to life in stores with our Save Water palette, which will reinforce the campaign messaging with the sink and Michael Phelps.
We also developed the Save Water Special Pack, which inside of it includes a special sticker. You can place this clear sticker on your drain, and when the faucet's running, it changes colors, reminding you to turn off the tap.
This is a really fun way to get our customers excited in store with demos. Now back to the home office to Charles Redfield.
So you've learned how to drink beer and brush your teeth afterwards so far. It's good for the environment. So isn't it great how our suppliers are using their brands to engage the customers, right? Drive excitement, actually through Project Gigaton. You know, that's what it's about. And so my name's Charles Redfield. I work with the food team here in Walmart US. And we know there's a lot of factors when it comes to food and creating healthy, affordable meals that taste good for our customers. It's great for our customers and it's great for the planet, right? There's a lot of factors that goes into that. There are also, in this global food system that we have, there's also a lot of emissions that come out of that, right? And that's why we're working with our suppliers to address just that and reduce those emissions. And we're doing that through Project Gigaton. Actually, the largest opportunities we have within this are both agriculture and reducing food waste, right? That's what it's about. That's the biggest opportunities. So within Project Gigaton, we're working within the agriculture pillar, right, to reduce the waste, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve water quality, but also put resources to best-in-class agricultural practices. And when we do that with our supplier base, right, we reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We also reduce cost. We strengthen our business together, right, and we grow together. So it's also good for business. So we want to spend the next couple of minutes, I want to introduce you to 2 other suppliers who are actually on different journeys within their sustainability paths, right? But they're both making a difference in what they're doing in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So first, I'd like to invite our Tyson team up here. Tom Hayes, Justin Whitmore, come on up here. Give you both a microphone. So Tom's the CEO. Justin, you're the Chief Sustainability and Strategy Officer. Is that correct?
That's right.
fantastic title. So, Tom, I remember you and I discussing, we met when you were Chief Customer Officer, and you went into the CEO role, and I remember having a couple conversations with you about strategy and also about sustainability and kind of your view of it. So I wonder if you could tell everybody, Tyson's journey through sustainability and kind of where you guys are now. And then Justin, afterwards, you guys have made some commitments around this. So tell us a little bit more about that as well. But Tom, kind of take us through it.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Charles. And thanks for having us here. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk about what we're doing. Tyson is known for chicken, for sure. We got a great heritage, and we're really proud of what we have done over the years, going back 85 years. But we are also transforming today into a modern food company. And for us, that means a lot of things, but our strategy is to sustainably feed the world with the fastest growing protein brands. And there are three things that we constantly talk about in terms of our strategy. One is to grow. We got to grow as a company, and that's very important to us. And we put the customer at the center, and we figure out how to grow. The second thing is we have to deliver on our responsibilities, our financial commitments. Any responsibility that we have to deliver, and deliver it with excellence. And the third thing that is, to your point, Charles, about what has been changed for us is sustainability is a part of our strategy. So it's not a project that we decided to do. It's actually a part of our strategy. It's our third pillar. So grow, deliver, sustain is what we're doing. And we've made some big commitments. And we also realize, as the largest food company in the U.S., big food has to get in the game to make a difference. And Justin has done an amazing job since he's joined our team. So say more.
Yeah, so first, I just want to take a second to say the convening power of Walmart is remarkable. The opportunity that we have in the room and the folks that you'll be enrolling through Project Gigaton over the next several years to not only create extraordinary experiences for your customers in your stores and buying online, but also to reshape our environmental future cannot be understated. So to your question, where Tyson fits in, we've made a very bold public commitment over the last month or so where we are going to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 30% by 2030. And we're doing this in collaboration with the World Resources Institute. These will be science-based targets. Now, our starting point is 90% of our greenhouse gas emissions come from what's called Scope 3. This is our farms, the feed that goes to our animals. This is outside of our direct control. And so our ability to influence that requires us to work in partnership with the farmers that ultimately help us produce the products that we bring to Walmart. And we're starting with an announcement that we made just a couple of weeks ago to improve land stewardship practices. This is nutrient management, manure management, farm by farm, on 2 million acres of farmland by 2020. This is enough farmland to cover the state of Michigan. This is enough feed from corn and other row crops to feed our entire chicken business every year and then some. So that's just the start. There's so much more for us to do, but that's how we're bringing sustainability into our strategy.
I tell you what, that's fantastic work, and you guys are actually doing what you said you were going to do, so that's great work to hear. And I tell you what, I think it's a good challenge for all food suppliers, right? And I like how you said it, Tom, right? We need to feed the world sustainably, right? And that's a challenge for all of us to do that because it's a daunting task, but we can do it together. Well done. Right. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. You bet. So one last supplier real quick. It's going to be on video. And what this supplier does is they make our market-side packaged salads in our fresh departments. So let's learn a little bit about how they're reducing energy, waste, and also water.
Taylor Farms is absolutely a leader in sustainability. We have invested over $26 million towards our sustainability efforts in the last few years. It's the right thing to do. We're inspired by Walmart's initiatives around sustainability, and it's really motivating us to continue to push the boundaries for what's possible. Energy is really where we've made our highest financial investment. The energy independence that we're achieving in our facilities is really unheard of in our industry, or quite frankly, the manufacturing industry as a whole. And that's something we're really proud to share with Walmart and with Project Gigaton. Taylor Farms is really taking our efforts towards waste reduction at our facilities very seriously.
We talk about the 3 C's: culture, communication, and collection. And that's really resonated amongst the staff here. We're color coordinating everything in the facility, so that's quick visual to our employees, what materials go into those receptacles, essentially what to do with each container. So the goal of the Zero Waste program is to have a 90% diversion rate to the landfill.
I think that sustainability is about a bigger picture. I think for us in our industry, we don't view sustainability as a competitive edge. When we find best practices that help to make us a more sustainable company, we want to share those with our partners at Walmart because it helps to make us all better in the end.
You know, nature has a very big role to play in Project Gigaton, larger than we once thought. My organization, TNC, we recently published a paper that demonstrates as much as a third of what we need to do to achieve our goal of keeping climate change below 2 degrees centigrade. As much as a third can be done by protecting nature at scale. In fact, we can't reach our goals without having nature on our side. The good news is that we're already doing a lot. The best practices in scaling best agricultural practices, forestry practices, reducing land conversion, these are all adding up to really helping us achieve our climate goals and helping us reduce water use, improve drinking water quality, helping biodiversity habitat, you name it. Now, the threat of climate change is going to require that companies come together, NGOs come together, and we do this all collaboratively. And Project Gigaton is a great way to make that happen. We're proud of the work that's been done to date. It was 3 years ago, I remember it vividly, on this stage, Walmart brought together 9 companies, 3 NGOs, to come together to scale best agricultural practices. We call this the Midwest Row Crop Initiative. And we're working in the Midwest, helping farmers understand doing the right thing for nature in connection with soil health and these kinds of practices also has huge environmental and climate outcomes. The benefits continue, and we just need to keep at it. I'm following my script, but it's slow here. Anyway, the other thing we're trying to do at MRCC, and all of you can help, is help farmers understand one by one on the farm that these practices not only produce great environmental outcomes, help Project Gigaton, but they help the farmers themselves improve their businesses and improve the livelihoods of their farms. The most exciting thing about this work is its collaborative nature. This is crystal clear to all of us. We can't do any of this by ourselves. We've got to come together, work together, and make good progress happen. We salute Walmart and Project Gigaton for bringing this all together. We encourage all of you to dig in and help us. Project Gigaton, the Midwest Row Crop Initiative, together we can make these important things happen. Thanks.
We know that customers want to buy products from companies they can trust and who do their part in basically delivering products to your consumers and to their families that are good for the planet as well. That's why at Kellogg our sustainability efforts are not only focused on our own operations, but are also on working with farmers and training farmers and giving farmers technologies and tools to their hand that are good for them and are good for the planet. Kellogg joined Project Gigaton a year ago when it was launched, and we are committed to supporting 500,000 farmers in the United States, trying to drive an improvement of greenhouse gas emissions, reducing food waste, and basically rolling out practices to those farmers that improve their livelihood. Through Project Gigaton, the work of the MRCC, and our engagement with our growers, we know we can drive collective impact together. We are proud of the work that Kellogg is doing with our NGOs and our farming partners, and we want to share this pride with our customers and our consumers and shoppers as well. That is why we've partnered with MRCC and with Mark and the team. And we've worked together and rolling this out to shoppers in the US in partnership with Walmart, trying to show to shoppers how we can actually all live better while doing good.
Yeah,
As Wolfgang mentioned, our customers are looking for products in the stores that they can trust. So what we're doing is we're actually going to try an approach in July. We're going to pilot in Nebraska, in Iowa, and Illinois, actually something where we're going to promote sustainable agriculture with the products that we have in our stores today. We hope it's going to showcase some of the good work that we are actually leading on sustainable agriculture for our customers to see that we really do have products that they can trust and provide them transparency. So we wanted to showcase just a little bit of what we're doing. We want to say thank you. So if you are a part of the MRCC, if you're a supplier, if you're an NGO, would you just stand up for a minute so we can recognize you? Awesome, thank you so much. So we have a lot of people involved, but there's still a lot more people that can get involved. So we want you to get involved, and we want to tell you how you can get engaged. So this is a big part of Project Gigaton. You can actually be on the agriculture pillar. There's a lot you can do there. There's a lot of resources on our sustainability hub, so you guys can go out there, look, see what we're doing, be a part of the things that we're doing in our stores, and help our customers see that through this we can actually support sustainable agriculture, help reduce farmer input, cost, improve quality of water, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Thank you all.
Technology is disrupting most areas of our lives, so it's no surprise it's changing environmental advocacy. We've seen the emergence of technologies that help people drive change by making problems visible and actionable. The environmental community stands at the cusp of a major transformation. We call it the fourth wave of environmental innovation. The fourth wave levels the playing field. It supercharges partnerships, strong science, and cutting-edge economics. It's innovation that gives people the power to take action.
Doing what's right for the environment is doing what's right for business. Most of the environmental impact and the opportunity is in the supply chain. The fourth wave, it's all about data, technology, about the power of people, unleashing people at scale, and we need technology to do that.
The momentum is building when technology and analytics are used to shape smart policy, rein in free riders, and reward corporate responsibility. The result will be positive change that lets people and nature prosper.
Good morning. I'm John Ferner. I lead the Sam's Club team, and I'm excited to be here. I told Laura when we first started talking about this that, of course, I'd love to be a part of it. This is one of the most fun days of the year for me, and Justin, you're absolutely right. When we bring this group together, this is a group that can change the world, and I was thinking about this entire journey Jim and I were talking about in the hallway this morning. We've been in this room, in these meetings, for almost 15 years. It was in 2004 we kicked this all off and got started. And 15 years later, we've gone from people like me learning from this topic from many of you to people like Julie Woods on my team, who I saw this morning, who she said she's been in the company just a couple of years, and she said, I can't believe that this is a journey because it's just a part of what we do now. It's a part of the product, and it's a part of the way we think about things. So I think it's great progress when you hear things like that. And as a former recovering merchant, I can't get through a presentation without at least talking about product in some way. So I brought our Members Mark paper plate, and it weighs about 40 pounds. That's why it's sitting here. But we've sold over 1 billion of these, 1 billion of the plates. It's a sturdy plate. It's made from 100% recyclable or sustainable content, and it's certified by the Sustainable Forest Initiative. This item also won an innovation award at the PMLA this year. So great items, and it's items that in our business, in the club business, that can make the difference not only for consumers but for the environment as well. And it's a win-win story. And a lot of times we find stories where we win, the supplier wins, the environment can win, and the customer can win. But it's not always easy. And it's not always easy to do that because the supply chains that we're leading and managing today, they're really complicated. And at times, these supply chains, they have impacts. And one of the impacts that we're trying to address is the impact of deforestation that's caused by the supply chain. And we've got to lean on technology. Fred talked about it in the video. And we can use data and we can use analytics to improve the things we're doing to help protect the environment and manage our supply chains in a more sustainable way. So I want to invite a group up. Just come on up, and we're going to talk through some of the ways that these individuals and these organizations are using technology to help us with our supply chains. Morning.
I guess I'm up first. So Kathleen, I'm actually from Sri Lanka. I really am. That was like a shout out straight to me and to my heart. So I'm with Conservation International, and our purpose is crystal clear. We are trying to protect that part of nature that is of most value to humanity. Now, Paul Hawken will be up here in a few seconds, and he'll talk about how climate change is by far the biggest threat ever facing humanity. We are living on a planet where the atmosphere has never been experienced ever before by the human species. Project Gigaton is probably the biggest, widest corporate commitment to climate change. And it's a collaborative commitment. 1 gigaton out of the atmosphere by 2030, so in about 10 years, right? Now, there's lots of opportunities to do that. You've seen the pillars. The one that I am particularly excited about, that I want you to pay a little more attention to going forward, is the pillar on deforestation. And here's why I think it's so important. So if we can just stop tropical deforestation and reforest lands that have already been degraded, it would be the equivalent of getting China's emissions out of the picture. It's a really big deal. And while there's been a tsunami of investment going into renewables, which is great, and we want that to continue, there's really been just a trickle in comparison going into thinking about forest conservation in terms of not just investment, but technology, communications, policy, and so on. So I think it provides you with a huge opportunity to make a big change. It's like literally being able to change the dial on your thermostat in our own lifetimes. So Walmart has expanded this pillar to go well beyond sourcing. They're now focusing on protecting standing forests and restoring previously degraded forests. The Walmart Sustainability Hub gives us lots of ways to get engaged, and you'll hear about Global Forest Watch Pro, which is a fantastic tool that uses big data to now account for and track forest conservation. So my plea to you today is pretty simple, and I think my colleagues from the Nature Conservancy, World Wildlife Fund, EDF, and others would agree that protecting forests and restoring forests is possible now at scale. It's certainly good for business, and it's great for the planet. Thank you.
So good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today. At Cargill, our purpose is to be the leader in nourishing the world in a safe, responsible, and sustainable way. And in many ways, much of our business depends on forests. We work in 70 countries across a host of commodities, and healthy forests are vital to our company's business and our efforts to connect farmers with markets, customers with ingredients, and people and animals with the food they need to thrive. In 2014, Cargill made a commitment to first reduce and finally to end deforestation in our global supply chains. And last year, we very proudly joined Project Gigaton with a commitment to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve energy efficiency, and increase renewable energy in our supply chains by 2020. All of these come together in a super powerful way, but what we know and what everyone in the room and online knows is that you can't manage what you can't measure. And so we needed some help. We partnered with the World Resources Institute and Global Forest Watch, and using WRI's cutting-edge technology, we've mapped 166 million hectares of land surrounding nearly 2,000 Cargill locations in our palm, soy, and cocoa supply chains. That's an area of more than twice the size of the state of Texas. So as we all know, Texas is big, and that's even bigger. The level of analysis allows us to effectively focus our efforts where it matters and when it matters. Global Forest Watch Pro is a user-friendly web GIS platform that provides near real-time data to further accelerate our work and increase transparency so that we can see more deeply into what's actually happening in our global supply chains. The partnership combines satellites in the sky and boots on the ground and will help us to effectively manage our supply chains going forward. Tools like Global Forest Watch Pro are vital to companies as a means to measure and to report progress on initiatives like Project Gigaton. This work will also help us to meet our commitment and to protect the world's forests, which is critical to all of us. Thank you.
Well, thank you. What if any company of any size could do what Cargill has done? Well, that's what Global Forest Watch is trying to do now. The World Resources Institute is a global research organization that relies on science to make big ideas happen. First, we have helped the world to try to measure the size of the problem. Now, if a tree falls, anyone can see it. Second, we have partnered up with companies such as Cargill to start to promote change, establishing baselines, defining priorities, tracking progress over time, all over the globe and in near real time. Now, it's time to take this solution to scale, together with Project Gigaton and our newest application, which is upcoming, called Global Forest Watch Pro. Technology has really changed our lives, right? I mean, this thing, it's changing everything, the way we do the things and etc. It's also completely changing many industries. There's no reason why it should not be used to also promote more sustainable businesses and supply chains. Global Forest Watch Pro, this upcoming tool, is a technology that relies on satellites, big data, and cloud computing, so any company from anywhere could track if forests are being lost in their supply chain. And that's valid for pretty much any commodity, anywhere in the globe, and in near real time. And as a plus, as you use this tool, you can also use that to report progress towards Project Gigaton, which is driving impact in issues that matter. Finally, we encourage you all to join us and use GFW Pro to help you manage against your own commitments and to help promote more sustainable supply chains globally. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Really inspiring stories. And for everyone in the audience, if you want to know about more about Global Forest Watch Pro or Project Gigaton, just check out the information on the Walmart Sustainability Hub. It's all there. But we want to challenge everyone in the room and your peers, and other people you know, to get involved, because this makes a difference for members, for customers, for human lives, for our environment, and for our business. So thank you very much. And we're going to pass it on to Ivy Barnes to come up and talk about product and package innovation.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm out here in the lobby to share a little bit about sustainable packaging and the important role that this plays in Project Gigaton. At Walmart, our key priorities for sustainable packaging are sourcing sustainable materials, optimizing design to reduce the amount of materials used in packaging, and also supporting recycling. These are all important in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Getting to the shelf undamaged and getting there efficiently are also priorities. I'm here with a packaging company, Delcor, that has introduced a packaging technology that both is great for our supply chain and also reduces greenhouse gas emissions. This sounds great for both the business and the environment, right? Compared to the average shelf-ready packaging, TurboCase uses lighter material. They optimize design to use less material during manufacturing. And this, as a result, produces 35% less greenhouse gas emissions because of lower energy consumption during manufacturing and transportation. This is a great example of how you can make a Project Gigaton goal. There are a number of packaging booths here, both in the back of the auditorium and out here in the lobby, and I'd encourage you to come and check them out during a break to see how you can make a Project Gigaton goal today. And now I'm going to hand it off to someone who is probably even more excited about sustainable shelf-ready packaging than I am, Greg Foran. Greg?
Thanks. Thanks, Ivy. You are right. I am very interested in shelf-ready packaging for all the right reasons. You know, I heard a song earlier on this week, the Rolling Stones, Time Is On Your Side. And it came into my mind again this morning as we were sitting here, because actually time isn't on our side. And I think if there's a message that I'm taking out is now is the time that we've sort of got to double down and lean in quickly, because as I think about my children and my grandchildren, what we're dealing with here is something that's pretty important. And if we hesitate and we don't take some action now, we're probably going to look back and we're going to regret the fact that we didn't move quicker. So fortunately, as many of you have already mentioned, at Walmart, we're in a position to make a difference. And the reason for that is a small number times a large number is a large number. So even if we do small things, when you're doing it 140 million times a week, or you've got 5,000 stores, or you're dealing with thousands of suppliers, you can make a difference. And we are. So, you know, to Greg and the team in the supply chain, to double the efficiency of the fleet since 2015 is a big deal. But go again. Charles, every single week we talk about food waste. And I can't, for commercial reasons, throw out the dollars, but they're big. But I can tell you that every single week there are a lot more units that aren't going into the waste. In fact, 100 million fewer units of fresh went into the waste last year. Not a million, not 10 million, 100 million fewer units of waste. Strawberries is something I often talk about with our team. It's a big deal when you buy strawberries. It's a big deal when you talk about it, Laura, in this regard, isn't it? Because if we can improve what we're doing with strawberries, we improve it for the customer. We also have less waste, and by digging in deep and understanding what's happening, we've been able to take 2 to 3 days out of the supply chain time, and that's made a big improvement. I was chatting with a supplier the other day, and they were telling me about what they're seeing happening in terms of innovation in apparel. And a lot of you probably know that a lot of plastic bottles now are getting recycled and are getting used in the production of things like shirts and socks, jeans. So this shirt, for example, that I'm wearing today, actually has plastic bottles incorporated into it. My socks, Laura, I think the jeans you're wearing, these ones here. I should probably stop at this point. You get the point, though. You know, isn't that a fantastic thing? You know, I can remember years ago when someone said to me, we're going to start selling bottled water. And I can remember thinking, why on earth would anyone buy water? But the fact that we've got to a point now, and this is 40 years ago, we've got to a point now where we've actually got a use for some of those plastic bottles that we all use and consume, to me is pretty exciting, and the customer gets it. They get the benefit of not only getting some stylish products, but they're starting to see that we're closing the loop, and you know, the demand for these products, I think, is going to escalate, particularly through millennials. These things aren't going to solve everything. I get that, you get that. But as I said, a small number times a big number is a big number, and if we all get into it and take some action now, then it's going to make a difference. And it's going to be meaningful. Caroline, I think you're going to come up and share some thoughts. You've been a terrific partner with us. The work that you're doing in sustainability with us, I think, is really appreciative. The Sustainability Consortium, the Closed Loop Fund, and of course the laundry competition. So So welcome here today.
Thank you.
Over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Greg. I want to talk a little bit about laundry compaction as one of the initiatives that we have worked on with Walmart, and then also talk about P&G's commitment to Project Gigaton. So laundry compaction was a journey that we started more than 10 years ago. And we have a couple of bottles. Tia, can you bring those over? 10 years ago, the bottle, or Greg will hold them. Thank you, Greg.
It's all right.
The bottle on the left was the bottle that we had 10 years ago, and we went to a completely new formulation, radically concentrated the formula, and the bottle on the right is the result of that. We've been working with this for more than 10 years. But the impact is really significant, and you can see it on the screen. In 1 year, that saved 500 million liters of water a year. It reduced emissions by 100,000 metric tons, saves 15,000 metric tons in packaging, you can see in the size. And as a result of that packaging change, there are 40,000 fewer trucks on the road to Walmart stores, to Sam's Clubs, and to other stores around the country. We couldn't have done that without the kind of partnership that we got from Walmart. Because when you make a shift like this in an industry, you need somebody to be there with you to take on the change that happens with that. And so that's a great example of work that we started a tremendous time ago, and we appreciate that partnership. I want to talk also about P&G's commitment to Project Gigaton. And as many of the suppliers and partners have mentioned today, many companies have their own sustainability goals. And earlier this week, P&G launched Ambition 2030, which is our sustainability goals and plans, which is all about having a positive impact in the world through our brands, through the work that we do in our supply chain, obviously the partners that we have, many partners in the room, but also through our employees. And we know, and again, as many people have said today, we know that consumers expect more. They expect more from companies like yours, from companies like ours. They expect us to do our part to do good in the world. And so our brands like Tide and Downy, Pampers, Pantene, Head & Shoulders, these brands are so keen to build sustainability goals into their day-to-day business plans. And we know that when we do that, it makes a difference to consumers. And we also know that it takes partnership. Similar to the convening power that Walmart has had with Project Gigaton, we can't do this without partners, without many of the NGO partners in the room, without suppliers and competitors working together. And we know that that's important because the more we bring everything together, bring all of our resources together, we're going to have a much greater impact. And that's what this is all about. And so this is why, from a P&G standpoint, we are delighted to be part of Project Gigaton. And we have committed to 50 million metric tons reduction towards Project Gigaton. So that's the 50 million. Apparently, we've got a big reveal. And we're going to do that through 2 ways. One is certainly continuing to drive low energy washing, so it's real energy savings. And the second one is through sustainable operations.
It is, it's exciting to see what you're doing. It's impressive, isn't it, when you put up those 2 bottles and you see the difference that it makes. You know, when the team were taking me through this before, they were talking about the whole sort of cold wash thing, and I said, why wouldn't you? And you know, this is true. I actually do the washing at home.
I know.
And so why wouldn't you do a cold wash, and why wouldn't it be a fast one? And actually, I get the whole thing done in 22 minutes because I'm big on efficiency.
I've heard that.
And I know exactly how long the cycle goes and what I can do in the 22 minutes while it's all happening. But it gets back to the whole point of a small number times a big number is a big number. And, you know, it's like turning the tap off when you're brushing your teeth. Right. All these things make a difference.
They all count. They really do. And low energy washing, and I'm so happy that you're a role model for everybody for that. Not everybody knows that 80% of the energy used in a wash cycle comes from heating the water. So if we can just get everybody using cold water, it's a massive difference. And the many reasons that people don't do it, if you can go back 1 slide for a minute, many reasons that they don't do it is because they're worried about the product performance. They're worried that it actually won't clean. And if it doesn't clean, then they've got to do the laundry again, which isn't good for the environment. So we are very focused on making sure that our formulations clean well and deliver the clean they need in Tide in cold water. And that also delivers a great benefit to the customers. It helps them save energy. It helps them save money. If you take a look at the energy saved by washing in cold water, it's enough to drive 300 miles in a year. This is if a consumer or a customer only used cold water for 1 year. 300 miles, they can power their television for 4 months, they can charge their iPhone or their Android phone or their smartphone for life. So there's a huge benefit for this, and we think that's important. And so what we want to do today is exactly as you have set out as a role model, not only get people washing in cold water, if you go to the next slide, we want them to take what we're calling the Tide Quick Cold Pledge, which is not only washing in cold water, but inspire customers to also take the quick cycle. Because we have products that work. We have products that work in that quick cycle in cold water, and there are no trade-offs involved. So they can save time, they can save energy, they can be highly efficient as you are, and we need more people doing that. So here's a video that shows what we're challenging consumers to do.
Somehow, we always leave packing to the last minute.
Time to break these bad boys out.
No.
I have a couple of things to wash.
We got this. Come on. Even on quick cycle, Tide Pods cleans great. 10 times the cleaning power, even in the quick cycle. Did you just get up?
Uh-huh.
It's gotta be Tide.
Very good, very good. And it's great to see customers using the innovative and new products, and it's good because it's helping them to save money and live better. And I know that this month we're actually getting behind you and your organisation, and we're going to be promoting this product in stores. There's going to be displays out there. In fact, I saw past the truck this morning as I was coming into work early. And we're going to encourage everyone to take the pledge, the Quick and Cold Pledge.
That's great. That's great.
Do you want to share some more about what you've got on your horizon?
Sure,
because I think you've got some big news.
Yeah, so as part of Ambition 2030 and what it means for Project Gigaton, low energy washing is one of those parts of the plan. The other one is sustainable operations. And as part of Ambition 2030, we announced this week our commitment globally to reduce global greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2030, and then to achieve 100% renewable electricity globally also by 2030. And these will certainly help accelerate our progress and our commitment to Project Gigaton. But we were also inspired by the work that everybody is doing relative to Project Gigaton, and we said we can do even more. And so as the lead of the North American business, today we're making a commitment that for North America, if you go to the next slide, we are going to get to the 100% renewable electricity by 2020 for North America, 10 years earlier than our global goal. So we're excited to do that. Those are the two parts of our commitment. We're very excited to be part of Project Gigaton, low energy washing, sustainable operations, and 50 million metric tons towards Project Gigaton.
That is a massive Thank you, Caroline. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you. It's really making a difference, and I know that all of us are going to get behind and make a difference as well. Thank you to all the suppliers that are here today. Your commitment to getting on and making change is really inspiring, and I think it's going to encourage us all to lean and go a little bit harder. I think it's pretty clear to all of us that we're at this point where inflection, where get in and make the change. You know, as I think about how I started with Time Is On Your Side, the Rolling Stones song, time is not on our side. You know, just a small anecdote. I was talking to my mother on Sunday, who gives me advice on all things, including how to run the stores in Walmart, Doug, even though she lives in New Zealand. And things like in-stocks and pricing and cleanliness and all those sort of things. But, you know, she was telling me on Sunday that they'd just had a really, really hot summer. In fact, February in New Zealand was literally the hottest month they've ever had on record. And then I reflected on what happened when I got up on Monday morning and, what was it, 26, 27? And then you wake up this morning and you're into your 70s and you realise that time actually is not on our side. So thank you for what you're doing. Thanks for your commitment. Together we can make a difference. Small number times a big number is a big number. Laura, over to you.
That was outstanding, and I love that reference. And so I get the privilege of introducing to me a very special guest. Many of you know him personally. I would say really started me on my journey on sustainability. But we're so honored to have with us today Paul Hawken. Paul, why don't you come on up? He's written 8 books, published in 50 countries, 28 languages. He's an entrepreneur. He's an incredible thinker. He's just recently written a new book called Drawdown, which has 100 practical solutions to climate. And in fact, as we saw that, they're all a lot of the areas that we're working on in Project Gigaton, and he has some new challenges in there that many of us aren't working on yet. So Paul's going to come up, and he's going to talk, Greg, exactly what you said. Tell us, challenge us to really look in our own operations, see what else we can do in our supply chains, because in fact, we don't have all the time. So Paul, come on up.
Thank you. I got this. I just want to say thank you to Laura and Kathleen and Doug and Jib and Lee Scott and Fred. They've just been wonderful to work with. All the names I've left out, I'm sincerely apologetic to you for forgetting or not knowing you or never meeting you in the first place. But it's been so wonderful to have worked with Walmart for the last 12 years. And I was sitting next to Jib, who I've known longer than you have, actually. And we were looking at the slides and the presentation and going, do you believe what you're seeing? And we were just like flashed back to 12 years ago or 15 years ago and going, this is unreal. This is like we're having like a dream, and so forth. Just the lucidity, the intelligence, the literacy, the commitment, it's just extraordinary. I don't know if you understand how far you've moved, how quickly, given before Project Gigaton, but particularly because of Project Gigaton. And I do remember coming back here, I think it was about 7 years ago, I don't know, I'm not sure when, and it was about waterless urinals for Walmart. It's like, one of my proudest moments. And I remember going to the staff and talking to them about it and thinking I had some knowledge about it in terms of impact and which companies were the best and all that sort of stuff. And I was astounded that really the people at Walmart knew more than any NGO I knew of in this area. In other words, Walmart had taken it in and then mastered it. And this is what corporations can do. This is what corporations can do. Drawdown. Drawdown is, what it means is the first time on a year-to-year basis when greenhouse gases peak and go down. So that's what drawdown means in the context of climate change. And what we did, there's a small group of us got together in 2013. And we got together because of this slide. And this is, as Sanjay mentioned, this is a global CO2 emissions, not emissions actually, but levels in the atmosphere for the last 400,000 years. And as you can see in that dotted line represents 300 ppm. And if you go back 2 million years, our genus Homo sapiens, floresiensis, erectus, whatever genus you want to name, we've never lived here over 300 ppm until 1939. So after 1939, we're in Terra Nova in terms of being a species, all right? Well, what you see right there, of course, is the 1950 level, and you see where we are today, approximately 410 ppm. You also see a circle there. That's called the Eemian period. That's 125,000 years ago. We were about 290, 287 ppm at that time. The cause obviously was not fossil fuel combustion. It was actually a tilt in the axis of the planet and so forth. It warmed up the ice sheet. However, the temperature at that time was 1 to 2 C higher than pre-industrial levels. We're 1 C higher now. Oceans were 20 to 30 feet higher in terms of their level. There was lions and giraffes romping across Denmark and Germany, and the hippopotami were breeding in the Thames River Delta. Okay, that's 1 to 2 C higher. We're at 1 C right now. And what you see here is where we are today, except it's not. This is where we are today. We're not at 410. We're at 490 ppm, because 410 measures the monolevel levels of CO2, which is done for 50 years faithfully. This is all the other greenhouse gases, methane, nitrous oxide, HFCs, right? and we're at 490 ppm. So the idea that the Paris Agreement is about capping emissions at 450, at 2C, and so forth is interesting since really we passed 450 in the year 2000. So when we talk about drawdown as a goal, the point is you see, and the words you hear about climate change is let's mitigate, or let's curb, or our emissions and so forth. Do you see mitigation here anywhere? Do you see, do you wake up in the morning and say, God, I can't just wait to mitigate today? And do you, to your point about children and your children's children, do you see a future in this? This is the highest it's been in 20 million years. 20 million years. So what I'm saying is we are clueless as to what's going to happen, except we are blessed by the fact that there's a lag time in terms of the atmospheric conditions on climate and weather. That's where we're blessed, and that's why time is really important. Do we have enough time? We obviously have enough time because that's all we have, but we have enough time to do what's responsible and what makes sense. So as I said, a small group of us got together, an NGO, and we wanted to ask this question: where do we stand? Is it game over? Is it too late? Looking at that data, what can we do? We didn't want to be another NGO that was trying to stop things, which is a good thing to do if they're harmful. We wanted to be an NGO that started things. We wanted to know what were the 100 most substantive solutions to reversing global warming, and we wanted to name the goal. If you don't name the goal, there's a fat chance you're going to meet it. And the goal is to reverse it. A goal is not to curb. Curbing is what you do with your dogs in Manhattan, right? This is not what we do with the fate of civilization, right? And so we set out to do that, except there was 4 of us. And we had no money. And even if we had, the idea that a small NGO in Sausalito, California, come on, like a bastion of academic institutional awareness. No, Sausalito, California, if we had come together and said we have the data, we would have all the credibility of a lentil, really. It was just like, thank you for sharing, California, And so what we did is we reached out to the academic institutions all over the world for research scientists. And we were overwhelmed by applications to be research fellows for drawdown. And these research fellows, Aga Khan Award winners, Fulbright scholars, Rhodes scholars, White House fellows, extraordinary. 22 countries, 6 continents, half PhDs, all double degrees and so forth. They became the source of the science and drawdown. And what I want to say here this morning is that there's too much emphasis, I think, in the world about what you can do. You're an individual. This is what you can do. This is what you can do. Really, this morning is about, and it's been spoken already, it's about collaboration. This is not an individual thing. This is about a community thing. This is about what we can do. And the convening power, which was mentioned about Walmart, is a community coming together. Coming together as people, we can do a lot. As individuals, it's really disempowering to be known, to be told this is what you can do, and know actually the gravity of the situation. Unless you have an IQ lower than room temperature, you know that doing these little things at home are not going to accumulate into the results we need. And so we had 128 advisors. These are some of the names. Some of them you recognize, like Tom Brady. We have a very diverse set of advisors on content, scientists, IPCC lead authors, people, botanists, engineers, and so forth. And what we do is we do the math. And what I love about Walmart and working with Walmart is we both have the same sort of motto, which is in God we trust and all others bring data. And we are all about data. And what we did is we mapped, measured, and modeled the 100 most substantive solutions, and we did it based on other people's data. All the impact was from peer-reviewed science. We always chose the median, and all the economic data, which you'll see, is based from the IEA, International Energy Agency, World Bank, FAO, IPCC, Bloomberg Energy. We did not create any data. Everything you see in Drawdown is us reflecting back to the world what we know. This isn't us telling you what we know. We're a smaller collaborative talking to the bigger collaborative of humanity about what we know. And what I want to show you really quickly is just to give you a sense of the diversity. It's been spoken to this morning, and Sanjan spoke to it eloquently about forests. This is not the slide I want to show about that, but about forests, but about the diversity of solutions that are at hand, that are impacting both as a cause and a cure. It goes either way, you know. You deforest or you reforest. Which one is a cause? We know which is the difference, right? And so this is onshore wind, the number 2 solution. These numbers are conservative. You see the net savings below, and this is over 30 years. So what we did is we chose solutions that are already scaling, and we scaled them for 30 years and say, what's going to happen? So again, the only input we did is continue to scale them in a rigorous but reasonable way. This is nutrient management. It's been spoken about this morning by Cargill and others. Big effect on dead zones. This is forest protection. The number below right, that is the amount of carbon that these forests are sitting on in terms of biomass and in their soil. This is the Kermode bear and the Great Bear Forest. Composting, it's in the slide. This is food waste, the number 3 solution. We waste in this country 133 billion pounds of food per year. Refrigerators is where we put food. We put in food where it goes to die, right? But it also happens in the supply chain, happens in restaurants, it happens, you know, and think about it. This is something you can do today and tonight and tomorrow morning. Try it. My wife, Spanish, she calls me animalito because once I saw this, I stopped wasting food. And I was eating rice with mold on it, and she's going, honey, and I said, if I don't eat my waste, in other words, if I won't do it. I'll just keep, you know, say, oh, well, next time. So I don't waste food now. And I've learned this is regenerative agriculture. Lot to talk about. This is household recycling. Dastanak woman in Ethiopia who actually they go to a bar and pick up all the things the men throw away and make jewelry out of it. Now they sell it to boutiques in France. This is solar. This is concentrated solar. This is what Sanjay mentioned, tropical forests. So important, unbelievably critical to our well-being in many ways, not just mentioned in terms of CO2, but actually oxygen, that's the thing we need. And this is the solutions. This is the pie chart. This is what they look like together. My emphasis here and the point of showing this, there's no such thing as a small solution. It's a system that caused it. It's a system that will heal it. And this one is one of our scientific advisors. Let's see, whoops, didn't come back. There was some music with this, but it's not playing. Oh, wait. But this is, oh yeah, here it is. And this is, you know, there's Rocket Man, you know, I miss the earth, I miss my wife. You don't have to do it that loud, but I just want to, I want to talk. Elton, you've heard Elton before. But you can turn it up a little bit, but the point being, this is Rocket Man. But Andy Weir's book on the Martian, you know, spoiler alert, Mark Watney, came back, but is an allegory about Earth. It's not about Mars, it's about Earth. Remember, he lost his atmosphere. It's a closed system. He's growing potatoes in his poop. Not so appetizing, but nevertheless, that's what he was doing. It's about, we're a closed system. We don't know it, right? This is the Earth. It's an island, right? And the wonderful thing about it was at the end of the movie, remember, he is the Almanance Gris. He goes to this college, this university. He talks to these young wannabe astronauts, and he says, listen up, pay attention, because this could save your life. When I was up there, did I think I was going to die? Absolutely, absolutely. And this is going to happen to you. Everything's going to go south on you, and you're going to say, I think this is how I end. And he said, you can either accept that, or you can go to work. That's all there is to it. And you do the math. You solve one problem, you solve another problem, and if you solve enough problems, you get to come home. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. That's what Project Gigaton's about. That's what Drawdown's about. Let's come home. This is our home. It's a miracle. We're not fighting climate change. That's another miracle. We're reversing global warming. It's what we do here on Earth. That's what we have to address. The climate will take care of itself if we take care of this. Thank you so much.
Paul, would you mind staying here with me for a second?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
I want to talk just for a second about Paul and the significance that he has played in the transformational mindset change that we've had as a company. And to do that, I'll tell you just a little bit of history. We started in the early 90s getting into the food business. Sam had built this general merchandise business, and in this country, we started learning how to sell food. And through the 90s, Greg started taking share and growing, and by the early 2000s, we're a big company, and nobody really sent us the memo that said, act like it. And facing that criticism for our business model, at some point after trying to refute things and fight with facts, and Lee Scott was our CEO, and Lee said, we really should try a different approach here. How about if we just start meeting with people who can criticize us and make us a better company, and the things that make sense, let's implement them. So the first time I met Paul was in the basement of the Inn at the Mill in Johnson.
That's true.
And I don't know what that story looked like on your side, but
I've heard, but
on my side, what they told us was, we're going to go meet with a thought leader who doesn't really want to be seen with us. So,
and I thought it was the other way around. I thought they didn't want to be seen with me, but anyway, that's right.
How about that?
Okay.
I've always wondered.
Yeah, me too.
So they had us come in from different doors in the basement of the hotel with the shades drawn. And when we walked in, there were just a few of us on the Walmart side, and the chairs, because Jib Ellison does this, were arranged in a circle, which we don't really do in Walmart. That's a little too personal. But the chairs were in a circle, and we sat down, and I had been given by Jib The Ecology of Commerce and had read it and thought, well, we're going to learn a lot about the environment today. And Paul would not stop talking about wages and benefits. I thought we were going to talk about trees, and I was concerned because I'd made a C in botany in college. But you were talking about people. And that is the moment that, for me personally, the dots got connected between social and environmental, and the real reason why we're doing all of this is what Greg said. It's about our kids and our grandkids and this blessing that we've been given here on earth. And Paul made a huge difference for me. And you said you wanted to be part of getting something started. Well, hopefully today you can see you really did help start something. And in September of 2005, September 4th, you sent this letter to Lee, which we have kept. And it was during Katrina, just post-Katrina. You'd been here, you'd influenced us already. And I just want to read one little short paragraph here. It says, interestingly, it seemed from news and eyewitness reports that the one institution that served people and had its act together during Katrina was Walmart. There was not a single detractor of Walmart during this period in this region. Rather, it was the opposite. There was gratitude, praise, and admiration. This vignette, though tragic in itself, is a simulacrum, I had to look that word up, of a future Walmart. A world with very different needs is served by a very different Walmart. A little bit later, in October of 2005, Lee stood here and made a speech called 21st Century Leadership. This is a draft copy that Paul and Lee collaborated on and scratched all over to create the words that created the big goals that we set out, which were three big goals related to the environment, but a broader message about our associates, about wages and benefits, and about the system, because it is a system problem, that we can influence and change and shape together collectively to help provide part of the solution. And it all started with Jib Ellison, with Paul, Peter Seligman from CI, with Rob Walton, and I just want to give a great big thank you to Paul for the role that he played in this. Would you please help me do that?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll keep it going. Thank you. Really fun to go through this scratched up version of the speech and look at how it evolved and changed. It was awkward for Lee at that moment in time, and I can tell you because we talked about it at the moment, to give a read speech. We're pretty spontaneous people at Walmart. We don't really prepare a lot. And Lee read in here each word, and he did it well because each word mattered. And looking back on it now, it is just so encouraging that we've made so much progress, and at the same time, it's clear to all of us that we've got to keep this thing going. Today, we sometimes use the phrase or term shared value, and I think that reflects the fact that it is a system design issue that we're working on. We're all designers. We're trying to solve a large number of problems, big and small, and as we do that, value is created for all the stakeholders, customers, our associates, communities that we serve, and everybody else that's in that chain. We can't do it by ourselves. Fred, thank you for being here, and thank you for what you've done over the years. Fred always shows up. The governor thinks you should pay state taxes in Arkansas now you've been here so often. CI, WWF, Carter and the team, the Nature Conservancy, TNC, and all the other letters and acronyms that have been part of this from an NGO perspective, we appreciate. Our suppliers, we're partners in this thing, and it's good for your business, it's good for ours, and it's more fun to do it together. So for each and every one of you that are here, thank you, and please go out and challenge some other suppliers to be involved in it. For our merchants in particular, all associates, but our merchants that get it, and some of our merchants get it more than others, that they're trying to solve an entire system. Thank you. I appreciate you being here and your involvement, and try to create more people who get it in the same way that you do. We are making progress. Some of the accomplishments are listed up here. In China in particular, we were there recently, and we committed to reducing our carbon intensity of our operations in China by 25% by 2025. We committed to work with our suppliers to remove 50 million metric tons of emissions from our supply chain by 2030. We've already got 40 Chinese suppliers signed up, and we'll have more. P&G, Carolyn, thank you for the big commitment. 50 million metric tons is a big number. It sets the bar high for others. We're working on renewables. One of the beautiful things about the goals that Lee and Paul said is that they're timeless. It's a big goal to try and achieve 100% renewable energy supply, but we've set a target of getting to 50% by 2025, and some of the things are listed up there that we're doing to get there. We're also going to double the electric vehicle charging sites in this country. We're going to go from 100 to 200, 1,000 parking spots around 34 states. It'll make us one of the largest providers of charging stations in the country. And we're going to have several that are super fast where you can charge your car in like 10 minutes. So you can now get across the country after we get that done. That'll be fun to see. And then lastly, I just want to say thank you to the real estate team, to JP Suarez, and everybody that's been working on this renewable energy challenge. I think it's one of those goals along with waste. Kathleen and I were just talking about waste, where I can imagine a time where we firm up our timeline to achieving these goals, and it's because of the good work that they've done. So I hope today is another reminder of the big picture and why we're doing these things, the purpose. I don't know about you, but I love being a merchant and selling stuff. It's fun. But having purpose behind it, where you actually know that you're doing good as a team as you do it and making the world better, is much more important than what the comp store sales were yesterday. We need them both, but the how we do this matters a lot, and I'm proud of being part of Walmart. So thank you all for being here today.